Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving deep today.
Into a YouTube audiobook.
Yeah, it's all about mastering your mindset. Now, I know you might be thinking,
Oh,
not
no.
another one.
Yeah, another mindset book, right?
Yeah, but honestly, this one, it's
Yeah.
got some really cool insights
It does.
that I was not expecting.
Really?
Yeah, so get this. It compares our minds to gardens.
Okay.
And we'll definitely dig into that more.
Yeah.
But it's all about, like, choosing which thoughts we grow
Mm-hmm.
and which ones we weed out.
It's so interesting how they frame that
I know.
because it really brings in that intentionality
Yeah,
to something that can feel so automatic,
totally.
our thoughts.
Yeah, and the cool part is
Yeah.
that even if you haven't been, like,
Okay.
cultivating a garden of positive thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
it's not too late to start.
That's encouraging.
Yeah, it talks all about neuroplasticity,
Okay.
that our brains can change,
Even as adults.
even if adults.
That's so cool.
It's like, it doesn't matter how overgrown your mental garden might be.
Right.
You can always, like,
Yeah.
prune it back and plant new things.
Neuroplasticity is one of the coolest things, I think,
Yeah.
to come out of neuroscience,
Totally.
that our brains aren't just fixed. They
Mhm.
can adapt and rewire
Yeah,
based on our experiences.
they smart experiences.
And even the way we think,
Yeah, and that's, like,
which is incredible.
it's huge, yeah.
Yeah.
For, like, personal growth and transformation.
Yeah.
So the book really starts off
Okay.
emphasizing this idea that thoughts actually shape our reality,
Okay.
but not in
Not in a mystical way.
not in a mystical The Secret
right.
kind of way,
Yeah.
but in a really practical sense.
In a very practical way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do they explain that? Because I feel
That's a big claim, right?
yeah, it's a big claim.
Yeah.
I mean,
Our thoughts shape our reality. They influence our actions and perceptions.
go.
So, like, if you think you can get that promotion,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to act more confidently in the interview,
Yeah.
which increases your chance of actually getting it.
Right.
And on the flip side, if you constantly doubt your abilities,
Mm-hmm.
you might be unconsciously sabotaging yourself.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah, like our thoughts create a filter
It's a filter.
through which we experience the world.
Uh-huh.
So if that filter is negative,
Right?
we're going to see,
We're going to see more negativity.
yeah, even if it's not really there.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's where the garden analogy comes in.
Okay, let's bring that back in.
So the book encourages us
Okay.
to be tending our garden,
Mm-hmm.
cultivating positive thoughts,
Like flowers.
like we would flowers, carefully tending them, and
Yeah.
then weeding out the negative thoughts
That can choke our growth.
that can choke our growth.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, like,
Yeah.
what are some weeds that you might need to address?
Oh gosh, I have a few for sure.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah. And it talks about how this gardening process actually works,
Okay, tell me about this.
like on a neurological level.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not just like a nice analogy.
No, it's not just an analogy.
Yeah.
So it talks about how our thoughts create neural pathways in our brains.
Okay.
And it's like,
So the more we think a certain way,
yeah, the more those pathways get
they get ingrained.
ingrained, like a well-worn path in the woods.
Totally.
And so
But the cool thing is
Yeah.
that those pathways,
they're not set in stone
right,
because of neuroplasticity.
because of neuroplasticity.
We can create new pathways.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and strengthen the ones
Yeah.
that support our goals.
It's like if you're constantly worried about failing,
Mm-hmm.
you're strengthening that worry pathway.
Yeah.
Right. But if you start focusing on,
Steps you could take
yeah,
Yeah.
to succeed,
to succeed.
you're building a new pathway,
You're building a new pathway.
a more empowering one.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
That's super helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it makes me wonder, like,
How do we actually create those new pathways?
yeah, are there specific techniques?
Are there specific techniques?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they talk about visualization
Okay.
being one of the most powerful ones.
So not just like daydreaming about your goals?
No, it's more than just daydreaming. It's
Right.
really creating this vivid mental picture,
Mm-hmm.
engaging all your senses
Okay.
to make it feel as real as possible.
So it's not just like,
Yeah.
I want to be a successful entrepreneur.
Right.
I need to
You need to see it.
visualize it.
Feel it.
Yeah.
What does your office smell like?
Yeah, what is it
Yeah.
like? What does it feel like?
What are you wearing?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. The more detailed and realistic,
Yeah.
the stronger the impact on your brain.
And they even suggest visualizing the steps involved
Yes.
in reaching your goal.
The steps.
Like the steps along the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the emotion.
And the emotions you'd experience.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's like giving your mind a preview
Yeah.
of success.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So are there other techniques
Yes.
besides visualization?
Besides visualization,
Yeah.
one that they talk about is habit stacking,
Habit stacking. Okay.
which is a cool way, I think, to
Mhm.
build new habits.
By attaching them to existing routines.
Yeah. So let's say you drink coffee every morning.
Mm-hmm.
You could stack a new habit, like a quick meditation
Okay.
or repeating some affirmations.
Onto that existing routine.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's so simple.
It is, but
And
less effective.
It makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, because it uses the power of those existing neural pathways.
Oh.
So your brain can more easily adopt that behavior.
So it's like you're hacking your brain
You're hacking your brain.
for success.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I like that. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So we've got visualization. We've got habit stacking.
We do.
What other
What other mind-blowing techniques? What about future pacing?
future pacing?
Yeah.
Okay. I've never heard of that.
Have you heard of that before?
No. Tell me more.
So it's about projecting yourself
Oh,
into
wow.
the future.
Okay.
Imagining you've already achieved your goal
Okay.
and experiencing what that feels like.
Okay. So can you give me an example?
Sure. Let's say your goal is to write a book.
Okay.
So with future pacing,
Okay.
you wouldn't just visualize yourself holding that finished book.
Right.
You would,
You would go further.
yeah. So imagine yourself giving a talk about your book, feeling that satisfaction of
Yeah.
sharing your message
Yeah.
with an audience, right?
Yeah. And like,
You could picture yourself
Yeah.
getting those positive reviews,
yeah.
feeling that joy
Yeah.
of impacting others.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's like taking a virtual tour
Yeah.
of your future success.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not just external achievements. It's about experiencing
The emotions.
the emotions that come with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
It's like planting a seed in
Mhm.
your subconscious.
And letting it grow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've been talking a lot about the future.
We have.
Let's bring it back to the present for a second.
Okay, let's do that.
So back to the present.
Yeah, so the book also talks about
Yeah.
dealing with challenges
In the here and now.
in the here and now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they have a really interesting approach to this.
Oh, what do you think?
What do you think?
What do they say?
They say that challenges are actually opportunities in disguise.
Okay.
So they're not something to be feared or avoided.
But embraced.
Okay, as stepping stones on the path to growth.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a really,
I like that approach.
it's empowering.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not about pretending
Right.
that everything's always rosy and perfect.
Right.
It's about recognizing that challenges,
Or
they're inevitable.
Yeah.
They're going to happen.
yeah.
Yeah. And we've got to learn how to navigate them.
Yeah.
Yeah. With grace
Yeah.
and resilience.
Yeah, and resilience. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not about pretending they're not there.
Right.
It's about how do we reframe them.
Yeah. How do we reframe these?
Yeah.
How do we use them to learn and grow?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
They talk about asking yourself some questions
Okay.
instead of dwelling on the problem.
Okay.
Ask yourself,
Yeah.
what can I learn from this?
Okay.
How can I grow from this?
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's about shifting our focus
Mm-hmm.
from what went wrong
Well, that one went wrong.
to what can we gain.
So what we can gain.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Turn a negative into a positive.
Yeah. And again, it's not about denying your feelings or pretending everything's okay.
Great.
Acknowledge the challenge,
Yeah.
process the emotion,
Yeah.
and then choose to look for the opportunity.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, this sucks.
Yeah.
This is a challenge,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to let it break me.
Right.
I'm going to learn from it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's like, it's okay to acknowledge.
Acknowledge it.
Yeah, that it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't let it stop you.
But don't let it stop you.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
Good. Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah, it's a good foundation.
Yeah. And I think
Mindset work.
this is a really good place to stop.
Okay, we've covered a lot.
We have.
We have.
So we're going to take a break
Okay.
and come back
For part two
for part 2
of a deep dive.
of our deep dive. All right. Welcome back to our deep dive into mastering your mindset. I'm still processing everything we talked about in the last part. So much good stuff. But I'm ready for more. What's next?
So in this next section, the audiobook really dives into how to break free from limiting beliefs.
Okay.
You know, those beliefs that just kind of hold us back?
Yeah.
And they acknowledge that just thinking positive isn't enough.
Right.
We've got to do some mental digging to really uncover those thought patterns.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like you can't just put a Band-Aid on a wound without cleaning it out first.
Exactly. You got to get to the source.
Okay, so how do they suggest we do that?
Well, it starts with really paying attention to our self-talk.
Yeah.
Like, notice those negative thoughts that pop up automatically,
I know those thoughts.
especially when you're facing a challenge.
Yeah, or like a new opportunity, too.
Absolutely. And they have a couple of techniques.
Okay, what are they?
Journaling is a really good one.
Okay.
It's helpful to get those thoughts out of your head and onto paper.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, get a little more objective about them.
Yeah, you can look at them.
But what if those beliefs are really deep-seated, you know?
Yeah, they acknowledge it can be uncomfortable,
Yeah, I bet.
but it's like renovating a house.
Okay.
You got to tear down those walls, expose the foundation.
You got to do the work.
You can't just put on a fresh coat of paint.
Right. Okay, so let's say we've identified a limiting belief. What's next?
Well, then you kind of challenge the validity of it.
Oh,
Ask yourself, is this really true?
Right.
What evidence do I have?
Okay.
And oftentimes it's based on past experiences, assumptions, not facts.
It's like those beliefs have just been on autopilot for so long.
Yeah, they've been running the show.
We haven't even questioned them,
Right, so you got to bring them into the light.
put them on trial.
Exactly.
So if we find them guilty, what then?
You create new beliefs,
Okay.
ones that are positive, ones that support your goals.
So you're not just silencing the negative voice. You're replacing it with a more positive one.
You're swapping it out.
Okay, so like instead of saying, I'm not good at public speaking, I might say, I'm learning to become a more confident speaker.
Exactly. That's a great example.
Okay, so it's about acknowledging where I am now, but also
Mhm.
embracing the possibility for growth.
Yeah, and they talk about visualization being a key tool here, too,
Oh, okay.
to really solidify those beliefs.
So to continue the public speaking example, I might visualize myself giving a presentation, feeling calm, feeling confident, connecting with the audience.
And receiving positive feedback.
Yes. Okay, so we're creating those new neural pathways.
Exactly. You're wiring it in.
I love it. Okay, so we've got challenging those limiting beliefs, reframing them, reinforcing the new beliefs with visualization. What else?
And affirmations.
Okay, affirmations, yeah.
They can be cheesy sometimes, but
They can.
you got to choose ones that resonate with you
Okay.
and incorporate them into your routine.
So, like saying them while I'm getting ready in the morning?
Exactly. Or driving to work, walking the dog.
Okay, I can see how that would make them more natural.
Yeah, weave them into your life.
So we're planting those seeds of positivity and nurturing them over time.
Exactly. It's a gradual shift.
I love that. Okay, what else is in this section about breaking free from negativity?
Well, they talk about your environment, the people you surround yourself with.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't hang out in a smoking lounge if you were trying to quit smoking.
Exactly. It's the same concept.
Okay, so we're being intentional about our inner circle.
Yeah. Choose people who uplift you.
People who believe in you.
Yeah. Your own personal cheerleading squad.
I love that. Okay, this is all great, but I'm also feeling a little overwhelmed.
It's a lot, I know.
There's a lot to process, yeah.
But remember, you don't have to do everything at once.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Start small, experiment, find what works for you.
Yeah, little by little. Okay, so we've talked about limiting beliefs, but life isn't always smooth sailing,
No, it's not.
even with the best mindset. So how do we deal with setbacks?
That's a great question, and it leads us into the next section, all about resilience.
Resilience. Okay, what's their take on that?
So it's not something you're born with.
Okay,
It's a skill that you can cultivate.
I love that. That means that no matter what I've been through, I can learn to be more resilient. It's not about my circumstances, it's about my attitude.
Yeah, and a big part of that is having a growth mindset.
Oh, right. We talked about that earlier.
It all ties together.
Yeah, it's all connected. So that belief that we can learn and grow, even from our mistakes.
Exactly. And it lets you see setbacks not as failures, but opportunities.
So instead of getting discouraged, I can ask, what can I learn from this?
How can I grow from this?
Okay, and it's not about pretending it's not hard.
No, it's about acknowledging the challenge
Yeah.
while also looking for the potential for growth.
So it's like, okay, this is really hard, but I'm not going to let it break me. I'm going to learn from this.
That's it. You got it.
Okay, so they offer some techniques for building this mental toughness.
They do, like emotional regulation.
Emotional regulation, what is that?
Learning to manage your emotions, especially when you're stressed.
Okay.
Not suppressing your feelings, but acknowledging them, allowing yourself to feel them,
Okay.
and then choosing how you want to respond.
I'm taking back the control.
Exactly.
And they give some techniques for doing that.
Yeah, like mindfulness practices, deep breathing.
Deep breathing is so helpful.
It is. It really is.
Like when I start to feel overwhelmed, a few deep breaths, and I'm back in the moment.
Yeah, it calms your nervous system down.
Okay, so deep breathing, and what else?
Having a strong support system.
So, people you can turn to when things get tough.
People who uplift you, believe in you, remind you of your strengths.
It's like having your own personal cheer squad.
Exactly. You don't have to go through it alone.
Okay, that's good to remember.
And then they talk about routine and self-care.
Ooh, self-care, my favorite.
Making time for things that nourish you.
Okay, like what?
Exercise, healthy eating, getting enough sleep, spending time in nature, doing something creative.
It's all about taking care of myself so I can show up as my best self.
Exactly. And it's not one size fits all.
Right. It's about finding what works for
All
me.
right, you're making it a priority.
Absolutely.
And then another big piece is adaptability.
Adaptability, okay. How does that fit in?
Well, life is unpredictable, right?
Oh, yeah.
So being adaptable means being able to adjust to those changes.
It's like being a mental gymnast.
Yeah, staying flexible.
Okay.
Open to new experiences.
Okay, so being willing to change course when I need to.
Exactly. And they have tips for that too.
Oh, like what?
Mindfulness, embracing uncertainty, challenging your need for control.
So surrendering to the flow a little bit.
Yeah, trusting that you can handle it.
Okay, I like that. But what about when things get really tough and it's hard to stay positive?
That's a great question, and it takes us to the next section, which is all about gratitude.
Okay, gratitude. I love talking about gratitude.
Yeah, it's a powerful tool.
It is, so I'm excited to hear what they have to say.
It's a good one.
Okay, we're back for the final part of our mindset deep dive.
We are.
I'm really feeling inspired by all this,
Yeah, me too.
but I'm also like, where do we go from here?
Right, how do we put it all into practice?
Yeah.
And that's what this last section is all about.
Okay, so practical application.
Yeah, taking the insights.
Turning them into action.
Exactly.
Okay, I like it, but sometimes,
Yeah,
even when I know what I should be doing,
right.
I struggle with the follow-through.
Yeah, that's common.
Does the book talk about that at all?
They do. They talk about procrastination.
Procrastination.
Oh, man.
The biggest obstacle.
That is my weakness.
It's a big one for a lot of people.
Yeah, so what do they say about it?
Well, they start by saying it's often a symptom of something deeper.
Okay, like what?
It could be fear of failure,
Oh, yeah.
perfectionism,
Mm,
lack of clarity,
okay.
just feeling overwhelmed.
Okay, so it's not just laziness. No, it's usually something else going on.
Okay, so address the root cause.
Exactly.
Okay,
How?
so how do they suggest we do that?
Well, get clear on your goals.
Okay,
Break down big tasks.
into smaller steps.
Yes, smaller, more manageable steps.
Make it less intimidating.
Exactly.
Okay, and challenge that perfectionism.
Yeah, that can really hold us back.
It can.
Yeah.
Okay, so make it feel less overwhelming.
Yeah, more approachable.
Yeah, I like that.
And then they talk about creating a procrastination-proof environment.
What? A procrastination-proof environment?
Yes.
Tell me more.
So it's basically designing your surroundings to minimize distractions.
Okay.
So like a dedicated workspace,
Okay.
decluttering your desk,
Mhm.
noise-canceling headphones,
Okay.
even just putting your phone on airplane mode.
I like it. Take control of the environment.
Exactly.
Okay, but what about when those temptations are just, like,
So strong.
too strong? Yeah.
They talk about self-discipline.
Self-discipline. Oof, that word.
I know, it's not always fun.
Not always the most inspiring.
But they reframe it
All right.
as a form of self-love.
Oh, okay.
So making choices that align with your long-term well-being, even if it's a little uncomfortable in the short term.
Okay. Prioritize my goals over those impulses.
Exactly.
So if I really love myself,
Right.
I'll make the choices that support my growth.
Even if they're not always easy,
Okay, so how do we develop self-discipline?
start small.
Start small,
Pick one thing you want to improve
okay?
and focus on it consistently.
I like make my bed every morning
That's a good one.
or go for a walk every day.
Yeah, anything that gets you going.
Build that momentum.
Yeah, create a sense of accomplishment.
I like it.
Yeah.
But what about willpower?
Willpower.
It feels so limited.
But it is a finite resource.
Okay, so how do we manage that?
Do the important things early in the day.
Okay, when my willpower is high.
Exactly.
Okay, but what about when it runs out?
Well, create systems and routines.
Okay, to support those goals.
So you're not just relying on willpower.
So Even when I'm tired.
You're still making progress.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah, it takes the pressure off.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so what else?
Anything else about taking action, creating a life we love?
They talk about mindfulness.
Mindfulness, okay.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about it.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm still a little fuzzy on what it means.
Yeah, so they define it as paying attention to the present moment
Okay,
without judgment.
okay.
So observing your thoughts and feelings
Okay.
without getting swept away by them.
Okay, so how do we actually do that?
Well, you can do formal meditation,
Okay,
but they emphasize that mindfulness can be any activity.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like eating, washing dishes,
Okay.
taking a walk,
So just bringing your full awareness.
to whatever you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what about the without judgment part?
Right, because it's important to be discerning,
Yeah.
but the kind of judgment they're talking about is that inner critic.
Oh.
That negative self-talk.
Okay, I know that voice.
We all do.
So notice it, but don't get caught up in it.
Exactly.
Okay, create a more compassionate inner dialogue.
Yes, more self-compassion.
Okay, so how do we do that?
A lot of people focus on the breath.
Okay.
Notice the sensation of each inhale and exhale.
Okay.
And then if your mind wanders...
Use the breath to bring it back.
Exactly, it's an anchor.
I like that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Any other mindfulness practices?
They suggest body scan meditations,
Okay.
mindful walking,
Mm.
mindful eating,
Okay.
even mindful listening,
So find what works for you.
and make it a practice.
Okay. And what are the benefits?
There's a ton of research on this.
Okay.
Reduce stress and anxiety,
Okay.
improved focus,
Mm-hmm.
better emotional regulation,
Okay.
increased creativity,
Wow, that's a lot.
even improved physical health.
Okay, I'm convinced I need to try this.
It's a powerful tool.
Okay, so mindfulness, anything else?
They circle back to the growth mindset
Hmm?
versus the fixed mindset.
Right, we talked about that with resilience.
It's all connected.
Yeah, so that belief that our abilities can be developed.
Yes, through effort and learning.
So how do we cultivate that?
Reframe challenges as opportunities.
Okay, so like setbacks are feedback.
Yeah, not failures.
It's a shift in perspective.
It is. It's powerful.
Okay, so what else?
Focus on effort, not just results.
Okay.
Acknowledge your progress.
Even if I haven't reached the goal yet,
Exactly. It's about the journey.
celebrate the small wins.
Yes, every step counts.
I like that.
Yeah.
And find people who support you.
Mentors, coaches, friends.
Steer squad.
Exactly. Your support system.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else before we wrap up?
They end by reminding us that the goal is to create a fulfilling life,
Okay.
aligned with our values.
So it's not just about external success.
No, it's about inner peace,
Yeah.
joy,
It-
purpose.
It's about who we become along the way.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah.
So it's an ongoing journey.
It is. Always learning and growing.
This has been such a great deep dive.
I agree.
I feel so inspired.
Me too. The power of our minds is incredible.
It is. So listeners, go out there and unlock your potential.
We believe in you.
And we'll be back next week with another deep dive.
Can't wait.
See you then.